flies when you're having fun. It seems like I just started in network marketing yesterday. Like, it seriously seems like yesterday I was waiting tables and bartending. Um, it's so crazy how quickly time goes when you're having so much fun. And that's what this industry is just filled with, is fun, fun, fun. If you're not having fun, you are not doing something right. I always tell people that. I am so excited for today's leadership Zoom. As you guys know, we've been doing this Zoom now for almost 2 years. We've had so many different 200Ks in the company come on and share their story and tips and all their goodness. And this week is no exception. I've actually been trying to get this lady on today, Miss Beth Graves. I've been trying to get her on for like a year. And at first she couldn't get on with me because she had something like every single Tuesday at that time. She couldn't do it. And then COVID hit, schedules change, and I finally got her. Y'all, we have Beth Graves. So I'm super excited to jump in and to hear Beth's story and just to hear from Beth. She has so many awesome tips. If you guys follow Beth, you know she is just like chock full of information. She's just like the never-ending pool of information person that if you have a question, she can usually answer it. I love following her. I love her tips. Like, and what I love about Beth and her tips is she doesn't just go do it. She tells you how to do it. And that's hard to find in network marketing. A lot of people will tell you this is what you need to do, but they don't tell you how to do it. And Beth is so good at making people understand this is exactly how you do this to see the success you're looking for. So Beth, I am so excited that you could be on today. And I wanted to start because we have so many new people and so many people that just might not be familiar with who you are, because honestly, we are so lucky to be part of a company that has this many 200Ks. Like, I did my research, and Lavelle has more people at the top of their comp plan than any other company in network marketing. And there's companies that have been around for 50 years. So we are so blessed to have so many people at the top of this company. And it's just crazy how many people might not even be familiar with you. It's just like, how is that possible? But I would love for you to share your story as far as what were you doing before network marketing? Like, how did you find network marketing?
I'm putting this in because, of course, the lawn people are here.
Of course, that always happens to me, like a plane going overhead, my lawn people come. Yeah, always.
It's always. So 2014 it's actually 6 years ago, 6 years from next month. I was that person that looked as though everything was cool in my life. I was driving a beautiful car, lived in a beautiful home, and was faking it, and had met Blair online. I did a little bit of jewelry, like for fun, and then realized it wasn't residual. It was I looked at what the top earner was making. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of work. And I walked away, and we had stayed in touch. And I had said to her, things are not good. Our family business is robbing Peter to pay Paul. It's stressful. I'm looking at real estate. I'm looking at a couple of different things. And she had connected me. This is interesting. And this is something a lot of people don't know. She had connected me with Stella and Dot, where they were launching their Ever skincare line. And I had been approved to be one of their soft launch. And I thought, oh, I'm going to get in early. It's going to be great. Right. And so when she came to me and said, okay, Elise, she basically told me what Elise had made the week before with Lavelle. And she said, let's just listen. Let's just listen to what she has to say. And I was only going to be in for 30 days. So I'm a different story than most of you. I did not start in network marketing until after the age of 45.
That's exciting, though. I mean, because you don't have to be. I didn't start till I was 36. It's like, why didn't somebody tell me about this a long time ago?
I know.
It's like, why didn't I get it before that? But, I thought they were like pyramid scams. I just didn't really get it. I thought, oh, that's something bored housewives do to make some extra cash. Like, you don't make real money doing those things. And I also didn't kind of understand the difference between direct sales, like, selling makeup and all that stuff versus
direct
what
sales
we
versus
do.
What we do.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get that. And I'm so happy that my first company was like a company that residual income was built that way, because I probably never would have gone back into it, which sucks because there's so many people that probably they have that perception of network marketing, like carrying a bunch of stock, delivering it to people's houses, having to buy this much per month. And I think that's why we have such that stigma to get over with people. But that is so cool that you started after 45. And I think that it's so inspiring because it doesn't matter how, I mean, 45 is so young. I'm 40 right now. I'm 46. I'm like, that's so young. Why are we talking like we're old? But a lot of people think, oh, it's too late for me, or it's only for young people. And that's just not the case. I mean, I think most of our 200Ks are probably in their 40s and 50s. I really, most of them, I would think. But the cool part about it is we have 200Ks that are 21, 22. So it's so cool that anybody can do this. So did you just jump right in? Like, what was that call with Elise like? Were you like right away, oh my God, I want to do this? Or did you start as a customer? How did that all work?
I don't know I think I actually am so thankful for where we were, because if I didn't need to make that money that month, because we had pulled our kids from the school that they loved. And I don't talk about this publicly because I used to have people say, share that story. And I realized that it was a shame spiral for my husband, who had built a highly successful business. And we made some really bad choices in 2008 that by 2014 were suffocating us. So I knew I was sleeping next to a man that was up crunching numbers at 2 a.m. that was losing his temper with me, that the whole house felt like it was that it was falling apart. And I used to tell the story of how we had, you guys, with business and personal debt, $1 million of debt. We were looking at how bankruptcy, all of those things. And I used to think the rags to riches story, and I'm a different story because I was somebody that was a product of overspending, overliving, making a couple bad decisions. And I had my head in the sand. I always just thought, here I am, someone that, I had been a teacher, a school administrator. When I had my daughter, who's turning 20 on Friday, I stayed home. I started a couple businesses. I worked for him a little bit, but I never had to have financial awareness. And I'll tell any of you that I'll preach this all day long. You only make money when you know where your money goes and where it comes from, and when you have vision for what you will do with it. So my money story, even when I got to 200K, I would waste money. But now that I know exactly what kind of money I need to have the life that we will have, the life that we have, is start your S Corp. Know exactly what you get paid. Watch Lisa's video on the comp plan. Love money, see it coming. Don't guess where it's coming from. Know exactly what you'll invest in your teams. Know exactly what you'll pay in taxes, and money will find you. So that's my stint on money, because I had my head in the sand and he thought he was protecting me. And when all of it got put on the table, it was staggering that he was carrying that around. And so at that moment, I get on a 3-way call with Elise, and I had known Elise, and Elise shared her story. And I was like, I don't care about what your story is with Thrive. How much money are you making? And that week she had made, and Lisa will laugh at this, she had made $7,000. And now that's a very low paycheck for Elise. I think that's like nothing. But I was like, holy crap. If I could make $7,000 a week, if I could make $3,000 this month, I can get the kids back into the private school. I can take over these bills. So I started that day with not a clue. And I hit VIP 800, 1600, 4K, and 12K in 13 days. And finally, I got the product in my body on day 12.
So you started just running with it before you even had the product in your body. You're like, I'm doing this thing. Well, how long did it take you to go 200K?
So the first 2 months, all we did, and that's what we're back to doing, was getting people on Thrive, helping people hit VIP 800, 1600, putting them on 3-way calls. Now it's 3-way chats. So we went. And I remember that every month it was going up. By the second month, and I didn't bring a team with me. I didn't have any experienced network marketers with me. So we were all just like regular humans that, and back then there was no such thing as attraction marketing. In 2014, it was just kind of a thing. So it was a lot of, we talked to people, we got them on the phone, we got them listening. And we were in New Orleans that second month, and I said to somebody, oh my gosh, like we hit 40K and I think we're going to hit 80K this month. I didn't even realize that was unusual. I didn't realize
Right.
it was not a thing, because coming in that month was like that we had just had Chaz hit 200K in 30 days. So I was a nobody. I was like, oh gosh, it took me 2 months to hit 80K. So then we went to, I think about that. It took us until February to hit 200K. And I remember a phone call that I had with Elise, and I said, it's kind of like we're stuck at like the 113,000 mark. And she said, well, how many free accounts do you have this month? And how many new customers do you have? How many people are starting their Thrive experience? And I didn't have any. And she's like, well, that's your problem, is you're managing your team. So then that's when I realized that, you know, my personal performance was important. And then we ran to that rank. We hit it. This is kind of funny. I was on a 6th grade field trip with my son coming back from St. Augustine, and my phone died. I had no power. My team was rallying on that day, and Paul was at a local in Fort Lauderdale with Blair. So they were watching it happen. And I had no idea it happened because my phone wasn't charged. I didn't know till I got home that night. And I was like, oh, it's kind of funny because I just had to relax and say, okay, well, we were 25,000 away at noon. So maybe we'll do it today.
It's so funny when you said back in 2014 there wasn't attraction marketing. There wasn't. Like, I remember building my business through expos and events. Like, social media was just not that big of a deal yet. It was just starting. And it's so crazy now how blessed people are that they can literally sit home from their phones and build relationships and not have to do it like the hard way, getting out there and like meeting people. But tell me a little bit about, like, once you hit 200K, and I love how you talked about management mode a little bit, because I think that's what happens to a lot of people. And you don't have to wait to 200K to get into management mode. I watch people do it at 12K. I watch people do it at 4K. I mean, it's that place that you now have people under you and you're like trying to get them to do all the work, and you're forgetting you have to continue to do it yourself. Like, oh, I've got this team. And it's hard to like kind of balance your time. And I don't know if there's any 200K that I've interviewed that hasn't at one point fallen into management mode, like where they didn't, and you kind of have to look in the mirror and go, why am I not growing? What am I doing differently? And then it's like a big slap in the face when you're realizing, oh my gosh, I'm not enrolling anyone. I'm not recruiting anyone. I've been helping everyone else, but I haven't been helping myself. And you kind of have to, I always kind of live by that 1/3 rule. Like, I spend 1/3 of my time making sure that I'm bringing in new work in my business, 1/3 of my time with my current team and and then 1/3 with my new people. You have to be diligent though, because if you're not, weeks can go by. I still get caught in that where I'm like, oh my gosh, this whole month went by and I didn't recruit somebody. Like, I was so involved with everyone else, and I'm like, okay, I've got to stop, get back to my schedule. But talk a little bit about once you hit 200K, I think people think it's an easy ride. Oh, you're 200K now. People are knocking at your door. You don't even have to try to recruit. They're just coming to you. I think they just think that it's simple after that. And I think I've hit my lowest lows after 200K. You know what I mean? Like, you hit your lowest of lows sometimes. And that's when you get reality checks in a lot of things. And I kind of like to always talk about the struggles. Like, what kind of struggles have you encountered after hitting 200K?
So a couple of things, and I hope that you guys can walk away with something that you won't do. I've been fortunate that I have always been a 200K since that day that we hit. And I have a tremendous amount of personals who are steady 12Ks. And so one of the things that one of the biggest struggles I had was wanting to be in the spotlight. I wanted people to know it was me that was the leader. I wanted to be on the stage. I wanted to have my team page. I started to seek attention. And although people that know me will say, "Oh, you're so great at edifying other people," I started to always make it about me for a little while, and so I didn't help other leaders to develop. And I always thought my way was the best way. So I would overtalk, I would overcoach, instead of respecting where somebody was and asking questions. I hired a life coach uh, outside of the work of network marketing, and to help me process why was I constantly seeking that attention, or if I didn't get a speaking spot at Thrive Palooza, why that disappointed me so much. Um, and all of the things happened for me and because of the team. So I had to pull away from that and not want to be the one that was thinking I always knew the best way and highlighting more. I'd always highlight people, but I wasn't really listening to them. So too much attention on myself, wanting the spotlight. And that's hard to admit, because that sounds conceited, but it was like, oh, I want to be in the magazine, and I was. And then I was like, oh, well, that's done. Now what? And it didn't bring me more customers. It didn't bring me more thrivers. It didn't empower my leaders to find their own voice and to lead their teams. So that was the first thing that happened.
For you to admit that, because I think that happens to a lot of people. I've been there. I mean, I think we all have been there, especially in the beginning. And you're like, why wasn't I asked to be on stage? I deserve it more than, and then you're like, you stop concentrating on your people. And it is so hard. I think you're the first leader to ever admit that. So you've opened the door for the rest of us to
Yeah.
admit.
And the thing is,
it.
you guys, I want to tell you this, is that I have watched a lot of people, and I want you to work it like this: is the circumstance is, like Paul is great about like highlighting people, but there are leaders on my team that have hit 200K. Heidi is awesome. And they forgot her bag. Like, she was one of the 3 that hit Auto Elite that first year. She wasn't called up. They forgot her rank advance bonus. They forgot her video. It's like, we laugh because I keep, and they always make up for it. But what I have to get back to is, what is it that I'm building? What is it that matters the most at the end of the day? And if you're not super clear on exactly what matters to you, and that is financial, like I'm specifically know what financial freedom looks like for my kids. I specifically know and visualize and see it and smell it, that lake house with my kids and their kids, and nonprofits. And I have visualized the phone call. Like, she's on here right now, but when Terry Curie hits 200K, who's a personal of mine, I have already visualized being at her house. I see it, I smell it, I do it. And then you fall into those emotions. And I'll tell you that the fleeting moment of getting the phone call for the magazine, they can only choose 8. And at the end of the day, what did that do for anything? It's like pretty. And I also did this. I want to share this with you guys. If you're a strong leg, or if you, I spent a lot of time in those first few years trying to prove to people how much I had done and how much we had accomplished. And that was my insecurity. You don't have to shout out your own accomplishments, but it wasn't like on social media. It was behind the scenes. Well, like I am like 600,000. Nobody gives a crap. Like, it is for you to build this business to, and so when I shifted to, it's not a sorority, it's not a popularity contest, it's not the cool lunch table, it is my business that I get hopefully decades and decades to build. And I better do it in a way that is, it's every time you're engaged in thoughts, conversations that have negativity, that are gossipy, it pulls away from your energy, and you will not attract the right people to your business.
When I think about, I've been in network marketing 10 years, just July is 10 years. And I think about who I was when I started compared to now. I completely get it. And it's so crazy because I would not be where I am today without self-development, without picking up books and listening to podcasts. And one of the things that resonates in almost every leadership book I've ever read is until you do not care who gets the credit, until you are so happy that your other, it's so crazy because 5, 6, 10 years ago, I probably would have been mad that somebody on my team passed me in pay. But that just happened this month, and it was the most incredible thing that's ever happened in my business to watch someone else pass me in pay. It was like, oh my gosh, I've made it. Like that's when I felt the magazines didn't make me feel like I made it. The being on stage, but actually having someone pass me and pay, I was like, this is so cool. And it's when you can look at business like that, I think that's when you get your growth as a leader and you stop caring who gets the credit. And I mean, I remember somebody would put something out there that I came up with, and I'd be like, I'm the one that came up with that. Why didn't they say it? Now everybody thinks they came up with it. Like, it's just so crazy how I was versus I am now. And I'm sure you look at yourself the same way, Beth. Like, who was that person? Who was that selfish,
I
horrible
have no
person?
idea. Like I find myself, Blair said to me today, I was talking to her about John Azaroff. If you guys, I'll post it. I'll post the podcast on my personal page today, but he does, he was on the Ed Milet podcast, and it's so true. And this is something that I stopped doing when I had specific goals, 200K, 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 200K. And I visualized how it was going to be. And I had the affirmations and I saw it and I spoke it and I did all of it. I hit that. And then millionaire, millionaire, millionaire. I did that. And when he talks about how you can subconsciously program your brain, like you would never say, I'm going to lose weight. You would say, like I'm the healthiest size 6 lean version, blah, blah, blah. And I listened to that yesterday, and Lisa, it made me think of sometimes we don't have specific goals after we get to that rank. And so then we squirrel around. And so listen to the, I'll share that, but it was very clear on why I think people hit that top rank, because we affirm it, we see it, we do it, we have it on the whiteboards, we smell it, we visualize it, and then we get there, and then we don't do it again. And we just say, oh, I'll just keep going. So now on my husband's account, because I never built that, I'm doing a 200K run. So I'm doing all the things that I did before and hitting 200K again there. And it's fun.
Yeah, it's so fun. Like you kind of have to shift your energy to other people. Now it's different goals. Like how many 200Ks can I get? How many people can I help get to this? How many millionaires can we get on our team? And it gets just so much more exciting to do it with other people. And I get it because I was with another company for 6.5 years that no one else got to the top of the comp plan. No one else made the Millionaires Club. It's not fun. It becomes not fun when you can't help other people do it. We're so blessed over here to have the comp plan that we do to help so many people really reach whatever goal they want to. And I truly believe that. I also wanted to ask you, have you ever lost something big in your business, like a big leg? I know that that's happened to me a couple times,
Yeah.
and I freaked. I'm like, oh my God, my business is over.
So I want to talk to you guys about this, and it was pretty public, and I'll share with you because I think it can help you. So one of the pieces there's a couple things that I want to share, and the biggest thing is that I don't talk people into doing the business any longer. I have very specific boundaries around how I do things, and people get my time, but I'm not begging and saying, oh my gosh, what are we going to do today? I look for evidence. And so I do things that will allow me to, and the checklist is there for me to say to someone, if someone's like, oh gosh, I need to get on a Zoom with you, my business isn't growing, I won't just hop on that Zoom. I will say to them, hey, so let's talk about how many people do you have mail out samples? How many new thrivers do you have? How many of you added to our customer groups? What are you doing for your personal development? Like, how many of our working Zooms have you shown up to this week? Or can you show me what your lists and your calendar look like? I want to see those things, because I used to try to talk people into the business, but I can't talk people into the business. So I had, I had somebody leave that she was like between a 40 and an 80K. And it was really sad to me because, and in this business, people kind of slowly go away. So there's never closure. It's not like when I left teaching, I said, hey, you guys, I'm not going to be coming back next year. I'm having a baby and I'm going to be home. And we had the party in the, with the Little Debbie oatmeal cakes or something. So I felt like with this first person that she just kind of disappeared and abandoned her team, and she decided to do something else. And I know that now her story was probably, I don't know how to have that closure. So that was the most painful part, is pouring into somebody. And then when they don't come to you and say, like, listen, this isn't a fit for me. I'm so grateful for our time together, instead of just kind of disappearing. And it's still like, so have those conversations. If you're like, I'm going to open a store that I'm going to sell potpourri, tell your leader that you're checking out, especially if you have a large team and they need support. And the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is recruiting, when you think you've recruited an influencer and your focus goes there. So one of the things that I did along the way after 200K that took me off track was I started to think that there was a better way to do the business. And I started to think that Paul wasn't right, that we didn't like, that I could create all kinds of, and I'll tell you how to do it the right way from my perspective. I thought, well, I could create, I was watching, I'll give you an example. I was watching Tanya Eliza and I'm like, oh, well, she says that you can have unlimited leads coming your way. And I fell for it. I went to a mastermind, and then I paid $25,000 to have her privately coach me on how to build an opt-in. And I can tell you the right way to do this. The opt-in, so that I could grow this list and have people effortlessly coming my way. So you do the ads, you do this, you do that. And guess what? There's not a personal relationship. Maybe 3 or 4 thrivers came from all this work. I built these dumb things that didn't make any sense. And I'll tell you that if somebody's out there saying, I built this business, I did this, I did that, they're not making the money that we're making at the top, and they've never organically built a business. So somebody out there that I know that is saying she's at the top of the company spends $250,000 on ads a year and makes $40,000 in her, that's not Tanya, she does well, but this person makes $40,000 if that in her network marketing business. So I get all squirreled away in that. What did I learn? I learned some really good things about how to write good marketing copy, how to serve and speak on social media so that I'm not constantly blasting Thrive, but talking about menopausal symptoms, drinking water, getting engagement, and so my social media skills stepped up, but I got away from the basics and I thought there was a better way. And my team then saw me squirreling, and they'd see me over here doing this, and they would they all saw that I was at Tanya Eliza's house doing a VIP day. And so they all got on her list. Well, guess what? 2 weeks later, after our coaching, and this happened a second time to me, she decided to leave her travel company and go join health and wellness. And my entire team who was on her list getting her free content got an email that said, hey, I'm building a dream team over here, and I would love to mentor you and guide you. Well, they saw me being mentored and guided. And nobody left, thank God, because they loved what we had. But imagine if you see your leader doing something else and you think you have to do that. You don't have to be a coach. You don't have to hire a coach. You don't have to run an ad. We all, Chaz, Lisa, me, Amanda, Jamie, we built to the top of the company into millionaire by getting people on freaking Thrive, by helping people to hit their VIP. All the squirreling that you see and that I've done, you guys, I spent probably $75,000 thinking someone had a better way. And Maria called me out on it, and I was mad at her that day. I have to send her a message. And I was like, what is she talking about? There's all these great marketing things. Don't you see it in the Facebook ads? And she's like, Beth, you're such a good leader. She was so great. You're such a good leader. Your team loves you. Get them on Thrive, get them connecting. Yeah, we learn now that we can consciously connect and pull people toward us. We know how to do that. And I spent this squirreling moment, I think, is so important, because the people that are doing that are not doing what we're doing here. So I would be making way more money as a 200K. I would be making, I can tell you, I want to be that leader that makes 50,000 a week. But I squirreled away 2 years of my life. I was still getting people on Thrive. I was still with my team. I was still doing all the things, but I kept thinking, oh, I'm going to crack this code. I'm going to crack this code because there's a better way. And you guys, it's marketing. So what can we learn from that is that we can learn that when we serve, when we help people to solve a problem. So now I look at social media and I say, okay, most people that follow me are over 40. What is the problem that they have this week? They're broke. They have kids that are racking up student loan. They never think retirement is on the way. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about network marketing, and then I'm going to talk about my solution, and then I'm going to have so they're commenting, but I'm going to come right out and say, here's my solution, and I'm going to talk to them about Thrive, and I'm going to get them on Thrive, and I'm going to get more people because we start with the stories. So I ended up, and I hope this is helpful for you guys, because I've not talked about this publicly. And I said to Lisa,
Are you kidding? This is like, I can't enough stress how much this needs to be talked about, because I think we all think somebody else has that magic answer. The magic answer is dig in, do the steps of your company, work hard. There is no magic answer. And the people that know what they're doing are going to be the people in your company, not somebody else somewhere else that's charging you, this much money. And we think that because it's so much money, they're going to have the answer. And it's so sad to me when I watch leaders get so caught up in this stuff that they neglect their teams. I mean, I can barely keep up, and I know you know this, Beth, and especially since you've kind of done this other stuff, I can barely keep up with my team. Now, how am I supposed to keep up with all this other things going on? It's like, there's no way you could be the leader that you want to be if you're involved in all these 50,000 other things. And what you realize is that this information is already out there. Somebody else is giving it away. I mean, you're not learning really anything different. It's somebody might talk a little bit different or teach it a little bit different, but it's really all the same things that you hear over and over again. And I just think that what you're talking about is so, so important.
Well, and so I always say, okay, what can we learn from marketing, and how can we learn to, and so I think a lot of people went astray too, when now there's an effective way to share that you're a thriver without being a company promo. And so I went so far over to thinking I should be mysterious that I wasn't getting customers and getting people asking. So I want to just say this is, I sponsored a very prominent, because she runs a lot of ads, person into my business. And she had never hit the top rank, and she came over to us, and she wanted to keep her team separate, because she said, I am going to train them the way I train. And I was like, oh, well, she had a list of like 55,000, because she has built all these programs. And so she did unethical things, like took her group from when she was doing her hair business, switched it over to just her own coaching group. And so she has this whole team doing it her way. And Thrivepalooza came, she kept them all in her house, like didn't even have them come to the events. I was not really I had to get pre-approved, and I let it happen because I was like, oh, I have this influencer and she's got this name. And you guys, guess what? She had a bot running her sampling and had her assistant doing this, and this, and she hit some things fast, but she started to go backwards because she wasn't engaging in the culture. She missed things like having 4 active legs and missed a bonus one month and wanted to blame me for that. But she was too busy building it the way she thought she should build it. And so what happened was her team became isolated. The very best thing that ever happened was that she left the company, and she did it in a way that was really scammy because she did all the things that people do when they leave. She tried to get in their heads, and literally not one person left, and reconnecting with all of her amazing women that now are a part. Like, I ended up being able to bring them over to the regular Thrive life. They're all having massive success without her. It was toxic. So don't even think because you sponsor somebody that says they've got a better way. And the bottom line of it was, she was leaving because Thrive Palooza was going to come around the corner, and she was not going to be at the top rank of the company after a year. So if you have a list of 55,000, how can you be at the top rank of a company when somebody like Chas did it in 30 days by doing it the right way? So I'm telling you this because if today you take anything away from me, it is to listen to my words. I have time. I had the money because I was, thinking it's a business investment. Plug in, like, if you plug into the personal development, learn from Ed Milet and that what I just said about visualization and affirmations, and believe with all your heart in what we have here. And I did a thing, and Lisa can share it. I asked on our 200K group, that group you want to all be in, because that's where all the magic happens. I kept wanting in to see like what happens in that group. We just talk about things. And I asked 200Ks, how did you learn about Thrive? Most people saw it in a Facebook post. Somebody put a sample in their hand, a friend shared with them. Solid relationships, like Chas says. It is knowing, I'll tell you, I've got Terry on here and she's right in front of me. So Terry was one of the personally sponsored from this person that left. And I reached out to Terry when she had a PPA of like 42, because she owns a hair salon, and she was just talking Thrive. And I found her. I got her, like, she didn't even know me. And I said, you live an hour away. Paul is coming here next week. Why don't you come to my house? We're going to do a little training, and then we're going to go meet Paul. And so she like ventured down here. We had a personal connection. And then she came to one of my a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 retreat that she earned. Had I not had that personal connection with her, she probably wouldn't still be here today and be one of a fast growing leader. So personal connection, and remember this is, there's not a better way. So when you think about how you're going to grow, think about how you're solving problems on social media, getting engagement, inspiring, sharing what's happening. And I'll also call bullshit on this. I love social media, and I love watching and listening, like, who's not obsessed with that amazing Courtney, but I am not Courtney. I'm this over 50-year-old chick who doesn't like, I can't tell those same stories, but I can have those same conversations. And so it's the number of people that you're willing to have a conversation with. And so when they come over, so I'm going to give you an example. My newest person I met in a keto recipe, I was cauliflower taco talking. And we were talking back and forth. And she came over to my page and she was like, wow, you do something really cool with health and wellness. Like, what is this you do? What's that little thing on your arm? So she came over and it was inviting enough that we started a conversation. I said, oh, you need it. Trust me, you need it. Let's get your order placed. Have conversations. But then the last thing I'm going to say, and I get on this tangent, I know, are we done at 12:30? It's already 12:40, is it's the relationship that you have when somebody says they want that sample pack or they want to be a customer. Keep track of it. Know the names of their dogs, know their kids, stay commenting, stay connecting, because then they are going to think, this is a human being that I want in my life, because you're building a family. So that's probably what saved me from my squirreling, was that there were people willing to call me out on it. And that also I had such a good connection. I never stopped our Sunday huddle. I always stayed getting people thriving. I didn't venture to, I just don't want you to think somebody has a better way. And I met some cool people and I learned some cool marketing things, but you don't need to do that. Nobody has a better way. If you're on this Zoom, you've got the best freaking leadership in the company. You've got people that people want to pay $50,000 to learn what they do, and they're not available for hire. So you've got it. It's in your brains. If you're not doing it, it's because you don't believe it can happen.
Yeah, well, if you don't care, we usually go a whole hour. So I've
Oh,
got another
perfect. Yeah,
question for
I'm
you.
like on my, I'm on my like
Oh
soapbox
no.
now.
Everything you're saying, I'm like, oh my gosh, like we have got to get this. Anybody who didn't get on today, we've got to get this recording out. Why do you think people leave? Like, why do you think somebody that's a 200K, like, I just want to know what your opinion of this is, because I mean, I have my own, but why do you think somebody that's a 200K all of a sudden up and decides to leave Lavelle? Because when that happens, I'm not going to lie, I think every single person goes, wait, are we missing something? Are we not in the right place? And like, there's a lot of people that think that way. And so then they're like, well, what did they just do? And then everybody starts to question what the heck's going on, when that's just not the case at all. Why do you think like somebody that's 200K leaves?
2 reasons. I celebrated 24 years of being married to a very, very opposite personality of me. And your decision to be with this company is, so if you're with, it's very different if you're in a marriage that is not healthy, that's toxic. I'm not talking that. I'm talking about the regular everyday. If you decide to find something wrong with that person every day, if you decide to wake up and think, oh my God, you kept me up all night, you were snoring, if you decide to get pissed off that there's pee on the toilet seat, if you decide to find the little things, you will find them. But if you every day are saying, if you're looking for the miracles, if you're looking for the magic, if you have gratitude, if every day you fall back in love. So every day I made a decision of visualizing how my marriage would look when it wasn't going so hot. I visualized what I wanted in 5 years and 10 years with Don. I decided, who do I need to be to have that happen? What kind of things do we need to do together so that I can have that? So that's what happens with Lavelle is we let a few voices get in our heads. We listen and we get scared. Oh, we can't have all our eggs in that basket. Well, put all your eggs here, make enough money and have this basket. So we let little voices get in our head, and it's like, it's always like that. It's like a relationship where you hear about somebody cheating on someone else. It wasn't that anything was wrong. They just got their eyes went someplace else because it looked better. But 6 months in, the adrenaline wears off. You're still having the same problem. So it's mindset. It's thinking there's better. I can start new. Everybody's used up. The other thing that happens is you open the door a gap and you let voices in. And there's literally people out there. I talked to somebody that was recruited away from another company and wants to come back. And she said they literally will tell you, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. So you create. The people that leave create. I know of one person, the first millionaire that left, and she felt that they weren't giving her enough attention anymore. And that was like, so those are, it's all internal. And so I would tell you to have gratitude for your business. Look for every single thing. Every day you wake up and say, oh my gosh, I am so blessed and grateful to be in this space with these leaders, with this product. And I cannot wait to help to get more people to have financial success, to be with their health and wellness. So I really think they make a decision to cheat on their business.
Yeah, I agree. And, at the end of the day, I'm never going to tell anybody that we have the only comp plan you can make money. I'm not going to tell anybody that we have the only good product in the world. Look, there's good companies, there's good comp plans. Lavelle's the better, but at the end of the day, it's about sticking with something and having to be passionate about it. Those are the two major things. And that, like you said, Beth, that initial excitement is going to wear off. I don't care what it is. 3 years into the business, I go look for my excitement other places. The excitement changes. You have to keep, kind of like in your relationship, you kind of have to reinvent it and find new ways and learn new things about each other. And it's the same thing. But I think a lot of people leave because they get lazy. And the option
Absolutely.
is, the option is do I stay here Or do I go someplace else and maybe take a bunch of people because I'm a 200K and they're going to think I know something they don't. And it's so much easier to go somewhere else and then I can make a lot of money. And if you watch people like this, it is a pattern. It's a difference between, and when I say that, people are always like, well, you left a company. I left a company that I gave 6.5 years of my life to. It's not like I was there for 5 minutes. And it was a company that I knew all numbers were down. No one was succeeding. You know what I mean? When you can see that no one in that company is getting to the top of the comp plan in a whole year, if that happens in Lavelle, I might be scared. Like, that's a little scary. So I was like, it's time to look. But, I think that it is about, you're going to take yourself with you. Like, whatever you got going on upstairs, if you leave to go to another company, you're taking you with you. The problem, it doesn't lie within the company you're with, it lies within you. And you have to, like, don't think if somebody leaves this company that something's wrong with Lavelle, because I can tell you, speaking, and I will never speak ill of another network marketing company, but what I will say is I have a lot of friends in a lot of different network marketing companies telling me their summer sucks. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is the best year I've seen. So just know that you guys are in the right place, and I just can't say it enough. But I want to know, like, what do you like do with a brand new person? Like, if I'm in your inbox today and I'm like, okay, you're ready to do this, and I love what you said, that you don't just recruit anybody. You don't, like, not that we're picking and choosing who we recruit. I'm not going to not sign someone, but I think I recruit like you do. Like, I'm not going to be desperate and pay for somebody's kit and go above and beyond, because people don't work. I've learned that over the last 10 years, that if they are not willing to put in something for this business, they're probably not going to do anything. And it's like those people that, in their first 14 days, if they don't get their VIP bonuses, then they stop working. And so many people don't even give this a chance. What are things that you think you do that maybe we're not doing that we should be doing in those first, like that first month of signing someone up?
So I've also shifted this. Is we went from how I started, which was Elise said, okay, go get your first customer. I didn't learn the cloud office. I was like, oh, and then we started, and I think that many of the vanilla lifestyle mix original thrivers on here, then we started doing like sending long checklists and onboarding and this and this and this, and then it became overwhelming. So I like to start the newest person with there's with basically helping them to get their first thriver. So and it's just so simple. Like we have to help a person that's getting started know the basics, right? So every day I want to just feed some information, and with the urgency of the VIP 800. So it's like, who's your first thriver? Let's get that person. And as we do it, here's what we share is, so if Terry was just starting out today, I would say, okay, so let's think about the people that need Thrive in your life, and just reach out with this quick message and throw them on a 3-way chat, or let's actually, with a new person, I love to do a 3-way call. And some of you will, and it's some people, like we have, obviously what you guys have on your team pages, we have a unit, we have like VIP 800 videos, we have all of those things. There's some people that will dive in and want to learn it all, but I want to make sure that every day I want them to learn something. So I use Leap. I want them to learn something. So I give them one thing to learn that builds, like, and think about it, all of you know it. You have to know how to ask a customer. I want them to earn money their first day by getting that first customer. And I want them to see the little donut move. So I'm gonna walk them through that order or send a screen share video. I want them to do something to attract that to them. So I help with that first curiosity, that first post, the first stories, and also attract what's coming by helping them to visualize like mindset. But I don't go really off the charts with it, because I didn't have a mindset when I started. I just needed money and I needed it fast. I didn't have a mindset till after 200K. I was like pretty much hustle, grind, go, go, go. And the only reason why it happened for me so fast was that I was visualizing it and affirming it, but I didn't know that's what I was doing. I was just like, I'm there. I'm 200K, I'm 200K. What does it take? What does it take? Who can I help? So learn, earn, attract, and then plan. So plan and that is, what will you attend? What, like, is there a working Zoom? What will you do in your social media tomorrow? Who's on your list to connect me with? So I like to think about that every day for the 14 days. If you're new and you're not, and I don't have any secrets. I literally will say, okay, we got to get 2 promoters. We got to get 2 people using, like, I don't go into like, they're probably already, if you have a customer group, in a customer group, because that's where they started if they're a customer. And some people will say, oh my gosh, will you hop on a Zoom with my new person? I want you to inspire them with your story. They're not coming to you. They do not need you to say, oh my gosh, Lisa Fuller's made millions of dollars. You've got to hear from her. They just need to know, how do I get my first thriver? And it's how to get the first thriver. And then I say, okay, their thrive is on the way. So let's make sure that they see some stories or understand what's going on, and breaking it down. And you guys that are on here know you could give it all. You could give it all to somebody. It could be the best, like, oh, this person's going to be great. They're going to be great. And then they're not. And then the person that you don't expect, they figure it all out. All of a sudden they're like, okay, I got 3 thrivers. So I sometimes, Lisa, don't even feel like it's sometimes just letting them have access to the tools, and then every day helping them to learn something, helping them to get in order, helping to get the newest thrivers. And then it's, and the biggest thing too is those that do not get plugged into team culture, team Zooms, and knowing where to find the resources will fall off. So getting them knowing, like, I'll say, okay, over here in our unit, this is where I want you to find that.
No, I agree. Like, I think plugging people in and making them feel a part of something as soon as you can is huge. But I love what you just said. Like, we really don't have control. When you sign somebody up, they either are going to get it or they don't. They're either going to respond back to you or they won't. And sometimes it doesn't matter what we do. I think that a lot of people think it's 200Ks that everybody we sign just VIPs. And gosh, I get people all the time that just, yep, I'm in and I do all the right things, but then they get started and don't answer me back. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? I think you're just amazing at attraction marketing, but I just think you're awesome at like social media. And I find it so hard. I don't know why. Every single thing I do, I'm like, should I do that? Like, I question everything. But a lot of the way that I do find my network, especially during COVID, because I'm a huge like face-to-face person, but I can't really do that now. So I've been utilizing Facebook groups a lot, just getting involved in groups and like-minded people and different interests and stuff like that. How do you build your network? Like, do you have a trick? What do you do to add new people? I want to know.
It's connection. And it's knowing. And so I had to shift from thinking, oh, this is weird, they're going to think I'm hunting them down. So I literally, during my connection time, so I have a strategy inside of groups to meet people, and I'm only in groups that I really truly have an interest in, and that aren't like, so for example, I am going to say I'm very clear on most of the time the people where my people hang out. So I attract a lot of empty nesters. I attract a lot of people that are just looking to feel better. So I will specifically go into my groups, and so I'll give you guys a little posting strategy that I use, is that I'll look at social media, and I don't have a strategy this week, so don't look at it, but I'll say, okay, this week, I am going to my avatar, my person, her name is Emily. And I'm going to say I'm going to talk product. It's the beginning of the month. I'm going to talk product. So my first thing that I'm going to do, because when I meet somebody new, I want them to come to my page, and I want them to see what I'm all about. And what I'm about is, you can be more, crave more, have more at any age. I have an almost empty nest family. I'm very, 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 very much into human rights. So they're going to see that as well. And I used to be so vanilla. I do not want to engage in any discussion, in any arguing, but now I'm like, listen, the right people with the right energy are going to find me. So I like to think about, and first of all, I think I want to solve a problem for the week for somebody. So I'm like, okay, so it might be not feeling community. What is Emily feeling this week? Is she feeling like detached? Is she feeling like she doesn't have energy? Is she feeling like she wants to make some money? So I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to solve a problem for the week. So the problem this week might be that she doesn't feel she has community. She's detached. Her kids are all over the place. So I want to make sure that I write posts that deal with, first of all, the first day it's market research, that I want to get people engaging with me. So I might, how could I get them engaged with me of solving the problem of loneliness? So I might ask a question about, like, when was your first girl gang, Girl Scouts, your first like club? Did anybody have a neighborhood club? I might bring up things of the past. And then in my stories, I might post like things that would attract that, like my first like clubhouse that I had. Did you have, like, when's the first time that you had your first girl gang? Mine was this. So I'll get people talking about that. And in my stories, I'd post a Zoom like this, or I'd shout out how we, meet people from all over the world. Then I might the next day give research around. So the first day it's asking a question, getting engagement. The next day it's I'm going to Google and find out statistics of women after the age of 40 that do X, Y, and Z. And I'm going to make it like, hey, did you know this? I found this out. But I'm going to post a really great picture of me with a bunch of women. So then the next day I might, and I'm going to be sprinkling breadcrumbs, and I'm going to connect this back to how I use groups. But what I want to do is have a flow on my wall, so that they're like, what's going on? But they can go to my stories and actually see kind of what I do. So then I might so then I talk about research around it. Then the next day, because I'm getting to saying I've got a gang for you. I've got a tribe. So then I might talk about me, and I might do a test. So on the next day, testimonial proof. And the testimonial proof was that in 2014, I wasn't with the kindergarten moms anymore. And I had lost touch with a lot of people, and I was pretty darn lonely. And I didn't think that a little pyramid scheme was going to bring so many incredible people into my world. And I might then share in my stories about all these friends that I have, the pictures that we have. So now I'm building out for the week, and not that somebody's following it, but it's making sense to me so that it feels connecting. And I'm still sharing testimonials with product. I'm still sharing my 3 steps in my stories. And then I might even do a Facebook Live interview with someone and talking about who would have thought a business would do this, and I would share resources around of how, like, the quotes about girl gangs and things like that. Who wants a jacket? Pinterest it away, right? And then I would do a call to action that's like, listen, if you've ever thought that it was over, that you were just like not going to have like empowering blah blah blah, I've got a suggestion for you, and it's a call to action. So I'm giving value, I'm educating, I'm inspiring, and then I'm calling to action. Now I might not get anybody that says yes, but this is how the group works. And I'll try to talk fast because I know we have 1 minute. So now, Lisa, if I know that Emily is missing community, because every time I hear one of my friends or somebody say that this is where they're struggling, I know what her struggles are. So write that down. What are the people's struggles that need Thrive, that need the product and the business? Write everything down, have a list. Make all of your social media around solving those problems or making them laugh, like a meme or like your 80s hair, all those things to get Emily attracted and engaging with you. Serve, give value, and then promote, like call to action. So now if I'm over in a Facebook group, and I'm in a Facebook group of empty nest moms that are interested in learning social media, like I find these groups, it's crazy. And so I do the same thing in the group, like, hey, I'm thinking of, I want to use TikTok, but I don't want to embarrass my kids. And I want to like, has anybody ever used TikTok? And they'll respond. Then I go back and give a TikTok fact. I'm engaging. Now, let's say in the TikTok, I become friends with Rebecca and we're chatting back and forth. I'm going to shoot her a friend request. And this takes like this is work, but it's worth it because Rebecca becomes my new friend. And then I will immediately put her to see first. I'll consciously comment, not just emoji, on her things. And immediately, you guys, this is the key. This is the secret weapon that I have. I've met Rebecca. My social media is like educating this week, even if you're just posting quotes and 80 songs and certain things. So I meet Rebecca. I look for a reason to get into her inbox. Rebecca posted that she's going to Lake Tahoe. Oh my gosh, Rebecca, I just saw that at Lake Tahoe, blah, 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 blah. I have to share this with you. By the way, share it where I want to see your TikTok. Like, I find a reason to get in her inbox so we can start chatting. Now I've put my breadcrumbs in my stories. I've put all of the things out. So that's how I meet somebody new. So in my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm having 5 exact conversations to get people thriving, but I've just taken this new contact and not just sent a friend request, but I already know she's going to Lake Tahoe. I ask her, I'm like, okay, you're in the empty nest group. Like, when did your last one leave? Are they home? We're connecting. Now I will probably, more than likely, she's going to ask me what I do. Oh, do you work? I'll ask her, do you work? Like, what do you do? It looks like you are a teacher. She is going to ask me what I do. And I just know that she is going to want Thrive because she needs it. I don't usually wait for it, but I will connect and create that relationship. And I will only do that with 3 to 4 people a week, if that. Because if I can connect and have a really good connection with someone and set them to see first, they are going to be intrigued. So I always say, does my social media, and I'm not afraid, I will say that I'm a thriver. I am all about that but I won't put promos and things like that. I won't put company graphics because I don't want her to go, oh, spam, spam, spam. Like, if it works for you, awesome. What I find is if I share this little sticker of mine post with a picture of me and I tell the benefits, that is what works. But I will talk about the company because I'm proud of it. I will talk about what we've done and the results and things like that. I'm not trying to hide it because I don't believe that, like, the whole, oh, they Google it and they'll go someplace else. We'll let them. Like, don't listen to that baloney. But I want to make sure that as I meet my new friends and also my current friends, that they find my social media either educating, inspiring, funny, helping them, or making them say, maybe I want to take a look at what she does. Does that help?
Oh my God. Like, do you have another hour?
Oh, well, and I have also, if you guys Google, because this is not original content, just Google, I think I have it on a piece of paper right here. This will help you too, Lisa, because this is how I kind of,
It's so good. It's a lot of what I already do, but like, I am struggling with stories. I feel like I'm the only person on the planet that literally goes 3 or 4 days without posting anything in my stories. I just forget about stories. Like, and I know how huge the stories are.
Okay, I can help you.
I gotta learn that better.
Because I do the same thing. So what I do is I just like stalk some of the, like, oh, that's a great story. So every day I just decide, and I didn't do it today, is a testimonial quote. So I have an album of quotes from Thrivers, and I ask people all the time. I ask team members, oh, text me that, the one that says, hey, I didn't want to punch my boss in the face today. Thrive must be working. So I have testimonial quotes. I also then have inspirational quotes about network marketing facts. I have some memes. So I try to make them laugh. And so if you keep it in an album, you're like, oh, I'm going to throw this up in my stories. I do it all ahead of time. So, and then I try to show the 1, 2, 3 in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
So, and so if you think about it, Marie Forleo talks about serve on social media, solve a problem, reveal your secrets, and embrace your quirks, and educate on your industry or product. So if you think I'm going to solve a problem in my stories, I'm going to educate on my industry or my product, I'm going to reveal my secrets. And that might even be like something that's non-Thrive related. I visualize is the next one. And that's like asking people, like, if you had a magic wand questions, and then embrace your quirks. And that's where you're great, Lisa. And like, when you say you're not great on social media, I'm like, right. I like stalk you and copy you. You're like my idol. So if you, and I think
You're
that's
so funny. I think my social media is horrible.
well, but the thing is this is a great lesson. How many people out there have watched the perfectly filtered, wonderful social media and they're not making any money? So your social media can be exactly how you want it to be. Sometimes I'm like, I'm just going to post like something about 8-track tapes today. I'm just going to post anything in my stories. It's the amount of conversations that we're willing to have. So that's the thing I'll end with this is, because I know we're over, is stop thinking like we think. Lisa and I are like, oh, we got to be better in our stories because that's what so-and-so is doing. Is this industry has created billionaires. This industry, and it is about personal connection, your belief in what you're doing, and are you willing to have the conversations? And so there's all different ways that people that sell t-shirts would sell t-shirts. Some people will go door to door. Some people will do it online. Some people do it in their stories. Some people have a Shopify. Some people have a store. Some people are on the beach. And all those people could end up millionaires. So we have to remember that we have to have belief and vision for where we're going. We have to take action. We have to have conversations. We've got to get people on Thrive. But somebody like Lisa and me might do it a little like old school because we're really good at having conversations. I'm literally going to call somebody and say, listen, let me call you and let's have a conversation. Somebody that said, oh, I don't have time to have phone conversations. I'm like, okay, so we make more money than most CEOs of companies working whenever we want to. Are you willing to, I complained to my husband once about like a Zoom or something. And he said, you make more money than me and I have to work 60 hours a week. So I think your 1 hour Zoom at 9 o'clock, you can get over yourself. So thinking about if I didn't pick up the phone and Terry didn't come to my house, she wouldn't be here. So thinking about, am I willing to do a little bit more? And I'm not talking about texting all day long when you're with your kids, but I'm willing to schedule 15 to 30 minutes with somebody because that's what's going to work.
I love it. Like I said, I could interview you for like another 2 hours, but I am so grateful that you did this today with us. And I have no doubt, like I'm already getting messages in my messenger. Like when you were talking, people were sending messages of how great this was. And it was, because there's so many things you talked about that we haven't even touched on before. And even the financial stuff, like, I remember doing the same thing with my first company, just blowing money and literally leaving that company as a millionaire and literally having my last paycheck as all the money I had. And it was such a learning experience, and everything I've done differently with Thrive. You got to give yourself grace because we are just all learning and we're all just growing into the best version of ourselves. And we're going to make mistakes and we're going to fail a lot. And it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows, but if you pick up and stick through it and keep going, we're all going to get to the same place. I believe that. And you were awesome today, Beth. I cannot say that enough. I probably muted you out because I just muted.
Thank you for having me. And
thank you so much.
So thanks, you guys.
So much good information. Thank you. You guys definitely get this replay out. We'll get the recording out to you as soon as Danny downloads it for me. And oh my gosh, so good, you guys. Every single week, this same time, this same link, it never changes. We have a new 200K on every week, and you have to get on. I mean, they're so good. We always have so many awesome nuggets, and I hope you guys took lots of notes. But if not, it was recorded. We got paid 9 minutes ago.
Woo! Go get your pay.
Yes, the best day. Tuesday is the best day ever. We get paid twice with this awesome call, hearing from so many awesome tips from you, Beth, and then awesome payday, real money going into our accounts. And I always tell people, whatever your paycheck is, $5, $10, it doesn't matter. That's $5 or $10 more than somebody else made. Go make a post of it. Put groceries in my fridge, put gas in my car. That's my biggest day of the week where people message me, is my payday post. It's people like something will stand out to them. You paid for that, or wow, I would love it if I didn't have to count groceries anymore. It's just those little things, you guys. So don't not post, because it's not bragging. it's just sharing what something has done for you, this little side gig, and the side gig could turn into the biggest thing you've ever done, the best thing you've ever done. I love you guys. Thanks again, Beth. We'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Thank you. Bye, guys.